A Tier 1 National Crokinole Association event hosted by the Scone and Owen Sound Crokinole clubs. In this matchup, we have Connor Reinman closest on the left to the camera, and across the board from him, Brandyn Osborne from the Queen City Crokinole Club. And playing against them is Jamie Harter in the red t-shirt or sweater from the Point Crokinole Club, and Ryan Buhr from the Summit City Crokinole Club. This will be a race to 9 points. The winner will take the third place spot at this tournament. Brandyn shooting first, going long. Buhr with a nice short roll away, getting nicely in front of a post. Now, both these teams had very exciting semifinal matches. Unfortunately, unsuccessful, but those are up now. If you haven't seen them already, I highly recommend checking them out, as Harter drops a 20 for the other team. Osborne finding his range, making it a 220 advantage as Buhr goes long on his shot as well. Reinman punishing the smallest of mistakes as Buhr goes just slightly long. Harter starting to make some headway in the cup. Players are lightning fast around the board. Buhr going long again. Maybe another 20 opportunity. Reinman unable to capitalize. Harter most certainly going to try to make a 20 out of this. They are almost halfway through the shots. Down 3 in the cup. Loses his shooter. Can Brandyn punish him? He does. Brandyn Osborne from the Queen City Crokinole Club most recently ran the Masters Crokinole Tourney, which we also have coverage of. That was a fantastic event, especially for its inaugural debut as a tournament overall and in the National Crokinole Association Tour. A lot of great play there and perhaps some good practice from Osborne, as we see him now in the top 4 of a Tier 1 tournament with some of the best him included. Another 20 from Connor Reinman. Reinman so far has only played in 1 tourney, aside from this one, the Turtle Island Crokinole Championship in August for the 2025-26 NCAA Tour. That's why his ranking is deceptively low right now. And you see Harter opting not to take his final shot. Reinman and Osborne take that round, bring the score 2-0. A lot of nice shots from Reinman. A huge thank you to the Scone and Owen Sound Crokinole clubs for putting on such a fantastic event. The tournament was great. The venue was awesome. Everything about it, double thumbs up. If you want to learn more about both these clubs, you can check out their information. Link is in the description below. We are 220s in for each team. All players seemingly have found the range, but we will see who is the first to miss. Won't be Reinman as he drains that third open 20 for his team. Now Buhr shooting now. Most recently coming up short. Won the Columbus Singles Crokinole Championship, which was either back in July or early June. Either or, a singles tourney under his belt. And Harter most recently won the Crokinole World Cup alongside Linda Wendt in Budapest, Hungary. So both these players, some accolades coming into this event and putting on quite the show as well, making it so highly in this tourney. 7 for 7 in the cup, but Reinman and Osborne with the hammer. Osborne comes short, opening the door for Buhr to get back. He is not able to capitalize, and Reinman punishes that mistake, holding on to their lead. Harter staying steady with his range. Down to the final few shots. Buhr and Harter, nothing they can do here but hope for a miss out of their opponents. With that, Reinman guarantees the tie. An invalid shot out of Brandyn would mean the tie, but he just needs it to be valid. Gets the 20 to go with it. 11 out of 12 shots. Kudos to both teams, but nonetheless, Reinman and Osborne going up 4-0 in this race to 9 points. Into the third round now. Reinman to open up. Buhr will have the hammer for his team. Buhr and Harter, I don't know if they've stuck to this team name, but the last tournament they were at, they were nicknamed the Wrecking Balls, giving their tendency to just show up to tournaments unexpectedly and to wreck the competition like a wrecking ball would. That's what I saw from a YouTube comment. I'm not sure of the validity behind that. Maybe I should look into that before I say things. But it sounds legitimate enough. So I'll take that YouTuber's word on it. I trust the good people of the internet. When has that ever gone wrong? Anyways, play on the board. Harter and Buhr the first to miss in this round. Reinman doing a good job keeping play away from Harter, who's keeping it in the 15. Brandyn now has the decision. He could go for the 20. That is a tempter. He could, however, just stay away from the center. We'll see how he decides to approach this. That's looking like a rollaway. Very nice. To the outside, where Buhr can still work with it, but not nearly as easy as anything in the 15. Nicely done. I stand completely corrected. Buhr makes that look like just another day at the office, as we are tied in the cup halfway through the shots. Reinman going long. Harter has the opportunity to get a lead in the cup now. And with the hammer, even if play is on the board, they have a big advantage. Very nice shot. That black piece still in play. Could serve to be trouble, but with Brandyn coming up short, gives Buhr something to work with. Getting the off and demoting the other. I was concerned about that being against the post, but able to deal with that. Reinman loses his shooter. Harter, most certainly, to keep play to the outside. And in a perfectly horrible spot. It'll be tough for Brandyn to get in. He'll either follow through or go for the hide. Nicely behind a post, but I think there's enough of a laneway for Buhr to, get a nice takeout. Forcing Reinman to play to the outside. Not much he can do here. Rolling over to Brandyn, so he'll have something to work with. A little bit more tricky for Harter to mess with this. Trying to roll out. Brandon's opportunity for maybe a tie. Yeah, even if he had gotten that, all Buhr would need is a valid shot. Buhr will gutter his final shot, bringing the score 4-2. Still in favor of Reinman and Osborne, but taking the first 2 points of the round. This is a Tier 1 National Crokinole Association doubles event as part of the 2025-26 National Crokinole Association Tour. If you'd like to learn more about upcoming events, how you can attend, how to sign up, where you can tune in, or how your favorite players are doing in the standings, what their results have been from previous tournaments, you can find all that information at nationalcrokinoleassociation.com. Link is in the description below. We are over a full circle around the board. Brandyn shooting. Looks like Reinman and Osborne will have the hammer. And unless I'm mistaken, that hammer will be Reinman's. And Jamie, the first to miss. That is such a nice 20. There is no reason for Brandyn not to go for that. I do like some defense, but when it's there, it's there. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense, as Brandyn nails that 20. Now tied in the cup, but with the hammer. If Reinman gets this, they'll be up. You'll see the advantage right here, 6-5. Harter and Buhr, all they can do is keep up in the 20s race and hope for a mistake out of their opponents. Out of their opponents, Jamie, not yourself. He goes a little bit long in a decent spot, but Brandyn should be able to get that off. The only downside is play will still be in the center, giving Buhr something to work with, but not much. Only thing for a 20 is a follow-through. Getting a nice push at the very least, not setting Reinman up for anything. Reinman with a beauty roll away to the outside. Could be, I think that's far enough out that Harter won't be able to catch a post, but staying between there. Osborne most likely will try to do the same, or maybe roll slightly to the side. Now he sticks right in that spot, and that is fantastic. Be very hard for Buhr to get in. He could go for the hide on Reinman. Looks like he was going for the push, ended up on the outside. That's also going to leave Harter stranded on his next shot, but Reinman rolls over. Harter hitting and sticking in that area. Brandyn, considering his options, looks like Reinman is discussing some strategy with him. Brandyn rolling into the house. Interesting. Nice 20 from Buhr. Very beauty shot, but it wasn't quite enough. Reinman and Osborne take another round win, bringing the score 6-2. Osborne have the opening shot of this round as we head into the fifth. Coming a little bit short, 20 opportunity for Buhr, who also unable to capitalize. Reinman with a nice 20, taking that lead, and we are back to an open 20s race. Harter recomposing, finding his range. And here we go, full circle around the board, pretty much a full reset after a few mishaps from the players. Reinman now coming up short, and that looks like a beautiful opportunity for Harter to get ahead in the cup. See if he's able to take it. It looks like up the left side of his quadrant is the best. Very nice. He is also a lefty, so that is his dominant side. Normally for most players, the right side of the quadrant is the best. You'll see Brandyn, for example, shooting right now. It works very well with the body mechanics to lean over that way. Whereas if you're going to your non-dominant side, you often end up scrunched up. Nonetheless, opportunity for Buhr, looking to increase their 20 count. Harter pointing out a potentially better line if that black piece is close enough. Very nice shot. Good call from Harter. And that's what good teamwork is, making sure your partner's making the best decisions, and that can go both ways. Reinman making sure that they don't get too far ahead in the cup, but play still on the board. On the upside, that black piece is very close to the post. Jamie nearly got a hamster off that, but not quite. Brandyn gearing up for that follow through. Doesn't get it. We're just over halfway through the shots, and Buhr trying to roll away loses his shooter. Reinman blowing through the house on his attempt to get back in the house. On the upside, Brandyn with play on his side of the board will have something to work with. And again, he gets nicely in front of a post. That'll be tricky for Buhr to deal with. Not impossible, but getting the off is going to be difficult. Now they have hammer, and they are up a 20. So I think the best bet is to just go for the touch if he's not convinced it'll go. Or get a 20. Get a 20, why not? Why bother with defense and strategy when you can just hit anything on the board? What a stellar shot, but Harter opening the door for Brandyn. Unable to get it with this shot. Buhr ensures the best thing that Reinman and Brandyn can do is get a tie, and that won't be possible. Harter might not even shoot here. He doesn't need to. We'll most likely see him trough his shot again. There it is. They take another 2 points, starting to close the distance, bringing the score 6-4. Nice shots. I want to see that replay. This one here. Hits enough to get it to go. Catches another post and in. Nice job, Ryan. This video coverage is provided to you by Tracey Boards, the official board builders for the World Crokinole Championships, and also the board being used in this third place match. If you'd like to learn more or to buy your very own board, you can go to traceyboards.com. Link is in the description below. And now that we found out how many times I can fit the word board in a sentence, Harter and Buhr up a 20 currently. They are playing against the hammer, but with a strong advantage right now. Brandyn and Connor waiting for a mistake out of their opponents. But we know that Buhr and Harter are very strong in the open 20s game. Reinman and Osborne keeping up. Both of them also very strong. It's very hard to tell who's more likely to lose an open 20s race. Almost halfway through the shots, though. Brandyn, the first to miss. And Buhr with a beauty rollaway. He's very, very good at those rollaways that are very close to the center. Just a nice tap getting to the outside. And just extends play a little bit more on the outside, where you want it when you're ahead in the cup by so much. Pretty much in front of a post you hear Brandyn commenting on that. Buhr going for another posted shot, not as successful on this one. And it looks like Reinman sees a 20. Could be a thin slice. Very nice. I wish we could have seen it. Brandon seems mighty impressed by it, so I'm going to take his word and say that was a fantastic shot. Harter losing his shooter. Brandon and Connor certainly not out of the woods yet, still fighting against a 20 discrepancy. Brandon ending up on the outside. On the upside, on Connor's side of the board. It'll be up for Connor to angle in, and that seems like the perfect line. This is to get back into the round. B.E.A. beautiful shot. Comes down to Harter. Doesn't get it. All Brandon needs is a takeout, and they can win this round. He catches a post. That is a tie. Oh, that is unfortunate. There are worse ways that mistake can go. Trust me, I speak from experience. But nonetheless, Reinman opening up, coming up short. Brandon and Connor now 2 points away from the 9-point goalpost. So they are in striking distance of winning this match. But Harter and Buhr close on their tails and with a 20 advantage right now. Also working with the hammer. Nearly gets a 20, and you hear the group. They all know it. They know that was almost there, but Harter left with a nice 20 opportunity. Loses his shooter. It caught a post. It also looked like it went offline from the 20. Nonetheless, Brandon balances out the cup. Buhr keeping play to the outside. It will be up to... Actually, we could be pretty close to a Brubaker situation, depending what Harter is able to do with this shot. Catches a post. I don't think that's how he drew it up, but that is a fantastic situation. Because Brandon goes to the outside. Buhr plays to the furthest one from Reinman. Back and forth, back and forth. And players discussing what to do. Brandon's talking about troughing it. Reinman, it seems, I listened to it before because it's a little tough while I'm doing commentary, and it's hard to hear in general, but he's talking about how he can probably work with that piece as it is. And what Brandon's suggesting is he just try to nick it and lose his shooter and bump that red one a little bit more over for Reinman, but he does the full clear instead. Buhr to play to the outside. Not much Reinman can do, but hit and stick and hope for a better opportunity for his partner to get into the house. That is a pretty clean open door. Brandon should be able to sneak past the post at the very least, getting into the 15. Not quite the 20 they wanted, but play back in the center. Buhr rolling away, not quite far enough though. Reinman should be able to catch a post. Keeping it in between there. That should be in enough that Harter will have a tough time touching it from the outside. So playing to the inside, catches posts. Reinman gets a mistake out of Harter. Brandon makes it hurt. Tables turned very, very quickly as the wrecking ball's now down in the cup. Play on the board. Buhr needs something big. Going for that far post. Ends up between the posts again. Difficult shot for Reinman. Miss. Fire. Brandon reassuring his partner, but that could have cost him the round and could extend this. Another one. That stings. Best thing to do is shake it off. Brandon could still tie this. Go strong for it as long as Buhr gets a valid shot. Harter and Buhr will take the 2 points, taking a 20, bringing it 7-7. Now anybody's game. That highlight was a little bit quick. Unfortunately, a flash highlight, if you will. Harter, open 20. Brandon follows suit. This could be the last match of the round, unless we see a tie. Whoever wins the next round wins the third place spot at the 2025 Scenic City Crokinole Classic. Full circle around the board. On to our second now. Brandon, the first to miss, just lipping out. Dipped in, dipped back out. Buhr nearly makes it hurt, but not quite. Now Reinman and Osborne are working with the hammer. That being said, down in the cup right now, they need something big like a follow-through. Reinman goes for it a little bit too strong. That drop back 20, I am almost certain it's not there. And Harter, not sure what he was lining up, but nonetheless, loses his shooter. Brandyn unable to capitalize. Passing an opportunity onto Buhr to go up 2 in the cup. He takes it. Reinman closing the distance. See what Harter does with this shot. Staying on the outside, but keeping that piece on. This could be a dangerous situation for Buhr and Harter. As long as Brandyn doesn't set up a double, and that could be pretty nice. I think that post is in the way. They have 25 points on the board, which makes up for the 20 discrepancy. And Buhr going for it. Leaves an opening for Reinman, tying up the cup. Piece in play. Harter needs to bring this into the house, or he will leave his partner stranded. And with so few shots left, that is the last thing he wants to do. A nice in between the posts. A little bit of a tricky shot for Brandyn. I think it'll still go. But there is always a bigger chance for mistakes here. Able to get it and keeping play away from Buhr. Very nice. That's not perfectly against the post, but it limits Buhr's options. If he wants the off, he loses his shooter. Reinman could all but wrap up this round right now. He'll be looking to get the 20 and also bump that piece back so that Harter doesn't have an easy shot. Very nice job. Harter needs to go for broke. He doesn't get it. That seals it. Connor Reinman and Brandyn Osborne have won the 3rd place match at the Scenic City Crokinole Classic. Congratulations to both these teams. And you see the thumbs up from Brandyn pointing at the camera. Great work to these two, teaming up for the first time and making it so far in a tourney. But with that, our match, which is up next, is the finals between Justin and Fred Slater versus Gina Schick and Darren Carr. That will be out very shortly, so make sure you stay tuned. And I believe when I'll be publishing this video will be the day of the Maryland Crokinole Championships. We'll also have coverage of that coming out very shortly. If you want to stay tuned in for updates, I highly recommend you check out the Charm City Crokinole Facebook page or Instagram or our socials. I mean, I'm sure that me and Jeremy will be posting as we try to defend our title. But enough about that. Enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as always, happy flicking.